Welcome back to Luigi's Mansion 3. We reached the 7th floor, which is a bit weirdly designed because it's supposed to be a floor in a hotel, but it's a very vertical stage.
Oh yeah, this one where it's like this is one floor and it's clearly like a four-floor floor.
It's multiple floors in a section. Yeah, it's neat. I like the idea of it. It's a little odd that it doesn't register on the elevator itself as being multiple floors. I kind of think they missed an opportunity there because this floor being multiple floors on the elevator would have been a nice shake-up for the game's ongoing formula. But
the only thing about it though is that this is one of the areas that you have to do the backtracking for, and this is like one of the worst floors that you could have for backtracking because, like, goddamn, you have to go all the.
It's a very linear and somewhat twisty environment that's a bit tiresome to go through on a second run, yes.
Yeah, it's also just, you basically just have to do the entire thing again, which is irritating. So,
well, you don't have to
it's fun when you do it the first time, but...
You don't have to do the entire thing, but enough of it that it feels like it.
Yeah, you can't just, like, walk up the stairs. You still have to, like, go through all the holes and do the jumpy thing with the mushrooms and... You know, you can't just walk, you have to work.
Basically, the environment doesn't... The environment isn't laid out for non-linear exploration. You have to progress room to room every time you pass through the area. And that makes hunting for the boo a bit tedious. And it makes hunting for the damn cat a bit tedious, too.
Yeah, they could have just cut the Polterkitty stuff altogether and just be fine.
I mean, we'll talk more about it
when you're going through this as its own main level the first time, it works. It's a linear level that was designed to be a fun linear level. It's when you it's when you tack non-linear exploration elements on top of that it becomes an issue. Which is a lesson that I wish game designers as a community would learn, but they never seem to. That you can't take a linear level and then just tack on exploration elements and call it a day. Design has to be integrated organically. That said, I love this fucking floor. From an aesthetic standpoint, it's beautiful. Maybe a little low res beautiful, but beautiful.
I mean, isn't that always the risk that you take, though, with flora and fauna
yeah.
in games?
At least it runs, though, which is better. I say that as
it's like
on
that's
my
a very low
end.
bar to set. It's like, does the game run?
Well,
yes.
no, that's the thing is that, you know, you look at stuff like, what's that thing called? The Sonic game with the running.
Adabat Unleashed.
So the Sonic game with the running.
Let's break that down.
Sonic
Unleashed. The Sonic game with the running.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
No, I want to go into this. Oh, there's Sonic 1. There's Sonic 2.
We know what you're talking about. The jungle level that tanks the frame rate because of all the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing. That happened, certainly. But it's not just a Sonic the Hedgehog thing, I will say. A lot of games have trouble with plant life.
Also, I wish at this point, I wish they would come up with a better way to hide the things other than, oh, Luigi got spooked by a thing and dropped the button, and he could have just shrugged and left.
He's a scared boy, okay?
Yeah, but that only works how many times before, as the player, you get frustrated. It's like, okay, seriously.
Well, I mean,
and he's already done this for like what, 2.5 games now.
That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to overcome his phobia to fear. Okay.
But the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
This is not fucking Harry Potter, okay?
That's not Harry Potter. That's freaking Eleanor Roosevelt.
Is it?
Anyway,
that's where the quote came from, or it might have been FDR.
Well, Harry Potter used it too, so fuck it.
But it's just one of those things where we get it. Luigi's a scaredy cat. You need to come up with a better way to move these little plot threads along. Luigi gets a spooked and he drops the thing. It's like, okay, that's kind of. It was funny the first time. It's dumb the fifth time.
Recycled gags suck. But
welcome back to BrainScratch Cons, where we have the same.
Fourth Mania playthrough. Fourth Mania playthrough.
I will actually punch you.
Okay, that was actually a line from Persona 5 Royal, where because they added to the ending, they intentionally had something happen twice, and when it happens the second time, Futaba says recycled gags suck. So they played around with the idea that Persona 5 already had a definitive ending, and the new story elements were kind of added to that definitive ending. So
Oh yeah, I have a question. Do people hate the new story stuff?
Absolutely
like they did with
not. And from my own personal experience, the third semester in Persona 5 Royal is like the best story on its own merits in the entire Persona series, which is saying something because Persona 2 exists.
Okay, because I know that a lot of people hated the what's it's called.
Golden.
The Persona, the Golden. Changes.
Yeah. Not a particularly good.
Golden changed a lot of things for no real reason.
Well,
the thing
about the extra story material in Golden is that they tried to integrate it into the main Izanami plot. Well, they kind of had to because the way they wrote Persona 4, the final battle happened like way after the extra month they added, so they sort of had to integrate it somehow. But like they did it in a way that made their new added character suddenly super important to a story that she didn't exist in the first place, and it was awkward.
This is Marie.
Right. In Persona 5 Royal, the third semester added story stuff happens after the original final battle. And it's more like the events of the original game, with a few more added loose ends, triggered another crisis that was different but connected, if that makes sense. So it feels more like a legitimate new story in its own right, rather than messing with the existing story that was there. Yeah, I think that's a good way to explain it. Well, in any case, the point is, they did a good job of adding more story material without recontextualizing the existing stuff in a bad way. Which is exactly what Golden did.
Alright.
I get really, really nerdy about my Persona games. I am sorry.
Just replace Persona games with any other thing. Play Mad Libs with it, and it would be applicable. Just as applicable, I feel.
Probably. I mean, when I get to talking, I just don't stop, do I?
Yeah, you really don't know when to shut up.
Thanks. Okay. Okay. Oh, Golden Mouse, vacuum it up.
Golden Mouse, Persona 4 Golden, which reminds me of Marie.
No, nothing reminds me of Marie. Normally, I try to repress the memory of Marie's existence. I really don't.
I don't have a choice.
The only time I actually kind of like Marie is in one of the spin-offs, where I guess the writer had a bit more room to have fun with her. But that's just. Am I the only one who felt the need to vacuum up all the flower petals, by the way?
Oh, I vacuumed up everything in the game.
That's what everybody does.
Yeah, I vacuumed.
Because given the nature of you finding treasure and shit through the smallest things, you're compelled to.
I tried to get almost pretty much everything I could sucked up in the game. I don't think I left anything behind.
The vacuum was large enough. I'm pretty sure you could suck up the whole hotel.
Also, is it bad that this area is like giving me inexplicable flashbacks to Poison Ivy's lair from Batman and Robin? Because it is. It kind of is.
I mean, a smidge. Yeah, I can see it.
It might be the fact that this is a bathroom and that was a Turkish bath, but it's got like the same kind of color scheme going on.
Yeah, I can see it now that I think about it. Although Poison Ivy's was a bit more red.
I suppose. It's just, I'm wondering why I'm thinking of that and not having negative feelings, and then I realized that, like, at times, even if that movie was absolutely terrible, they did have a decent idea of how to make things look interesting. You know, when they weren't doing dumbass stuff like bat nipples, but...
I don't think this hotel floor is handling the quarantine very well.
A lot of people have been turning to gardening in these times.
Actually, yeah, now I think about it, I know someone who's growing marigolds right now.
That's actually very
Originally, originally she was trying to, like, plant a tomato slice, but then she got her hands on some marigold seeds, so she threw out the tomato slice before anything happened to it, and just planted the marigolds.
Okay, alright,
Yes.
I got my wires crossed. Like you said, planted tomato slices. No, she's trying to grow tomato slices.
No, you can plant a tomato slice with the seeds still in it. And
right. Right. I thought like she was trying to like grow tomato slices. But he's like, I always wanted to grow tomatoes, but I wanted to do the job for me. Kind of put them on a sandwich. Just pluck them right off of the branch. Just put it right on a sandwich.
But I can understand the appeal of gardening. I think the only reason that it hasn't occurred to me to try at this point in time is because I don't really have a place to do it.
So here's my thing. I metaphorically don't have a problem with getting my hands dirty. I physically do not like getting my hands dirty.
Well, that's why you wear gloves while you're gardening.
Oh, right. I don't like wearing gloves. They feel weird.
I don't like wearing gloves either, but, I've stopped...
Really? Okay. I have to wear gloves when I'm doing any outdoor...
Well, I don't like wearing gloves because I like to have my fingers free for typing and stuff, and I'm constantly, like, doing side stuff on my phone. But I sort of got used to the feeling of wearing gloves all the time because I was working at a warehouse. And for some reason, they think gloves will protect you if you spill a hazardous chemical on them. They won't. It'll just go through the gloves. But still... It's like a thing that they do, and you have to comply. And
gloves are more useful for when they're trying to when you're dealing with stuff that'll give you cuts.
Well, the equipment we work with also has a touchpad mouse, so it was frustrating. Okay, I constantly had to take the gloves off because the touchpad mouse wouldn't register my finger while I was wearing the gloves. Stop hitting yourself, dude. Come on.
So the sneaky ghosts in this game don't really do much for me personally. Like they kind of just feel like the same as the normal ghosts, except you occasionally have to use the dark light to find them, which isn't that interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, like we said in the our first session, the combat isn't really this game's strength.
I mean, I guess the problem for it is that every enemy in the original Luigi's Mansion, save for some of the the end of stage bosses, you could beat in one pull. You can't do that in this game. I don't think it's possible to beat the who's its face, the big guys, the square dudes. They have names. I don't remember what their names are. I don't think it's possible to beat him in one pull. Even once you get the upgraded
I think if you're very good at the slam timing and then you spend a decent chunk of time just pulling before you start doing the slam.
Here's the thing, I always tried to pull as long as I possibly could before I started slamming, and I mean maybe I'm just bad at video games, but I never personally ever got it to work out.
I can't say for sure. I haven't specifically tried, but
yeah.
You could probably look it up on YouTube and see whether or not it's been done.
Yeah, but that would take, work.
I have heard, though...
I mean, if it can be done, I'm sure a speedrunner has done it.
I have heard that if you're good at the slam timing, you can get a lot of damage in one go. But
well, the thing about the slam timing is that you can damage a lot of enemies.
I love this thing.
Luigi's this got thing? A chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, was I the only one who chainsawed literally everything in this room?
No.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. I did it, too.
I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
Yeah, like I cut apart literally everything I could.
What Nintendo game lets you have a chainsaw?
I like how
one.
the chainsaw just causes the bed to explode because they couldn't be bothered to animate like Metal Gear Solid Revengeance kind of cutting animations.
I mean, for some of them, like the bed there exploded in a somewhat realistic
way. It fell
way.
apart into 4 pieces that had absolutely no bearing on where your chainsaw actually was.
Yeah, but at least it didn't like completely explode. Whereas a lot of games will, yes, just have them all completely explode.
So this is a permanent upgrade to our vacuum, right?
No.
I mean, it's not a vacuum anymore. It's a buzzsaw.
No.
Buzzsaw
You just
ghosts to death. Ghosts don't die. Let's test that hypothesis, asshole. I like how you can mow the grass with it, though, even though it's like not angled in the right direction for that at all.
Bad. I'm the guy with the buzzsaw.
Mario! I'm here to find you, Mario!
I like that you can open the chest with the chainsaw. Yeah. That's such a neat little touch.
Yeah, it should fit through the door now.
Pivot! Pivot! I'll show you pivot, Mario.
For sure, like everyone's had that problem. Was like, man, if only I could snap you in half momentarily.
Yeah.
Just momentarily.
That's just momentarily, yeah.
So when does...
Oh, good, I got the bar.
So, under what conditions do all the things respawn? Do you have to leave the floor? Does it stay...
I think you have to leave the floor, and then everything on the floor respawns. Because even when you save the game and exit, the game saves, you know, whatever you've blown up, sucked up, you know, dealt with. And I'm pretty sure that you can't grind coins from the environment. You can only grind, like, the pity coins you get from ghosts that respawn. So... But the game, yeah, does do a good job saving a lot of the stuff. The destruction that you do, it just comes back when you reset the floor. Which, I mean, you know, it's a video game, so it's bound to happen. But I'm more accepting of it in a game like Luigi's Mansion, where the floor is haunted, woo, 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 you know, where at least that's an excuse that they could go with. Versus where, oh my... Okay, so the physics in this game aren't actually, like... good. I'd like to point out.
I mean, they're good, but they also have a lot of weird buggy moments.
Well, at least you don't have 2 party members following you around, constantly knocking down all the chairs while you're trying to sneak around the tower. Barrett, Tifa, please, you're killing me. But like, physics objects.
I like how Luigi is literally dying right now.
You lost track of where you put the chainsaw. Oops.
Yep.
But, like, physics objects, they're kind of cool, but also kind of hokey. And if this were a game that were, like, less cartoony than this, I don't think the effect of these physics objects would be particularly good. So it's a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing it is cartoony.
Because they just look silly.
It's just, you look back at a lot of these games where you're just like, look at how good the physics are in these games, and then you actually look at what the physics were actually like in that game.
Oh, yes.
And it's like...
Batman ragdolls everywhere. It's great.
Everything that used the old Havoc engine, it looks terrible now. Everything is so floaty, and when you see it collide with other stuff in the environment, it looks like everything is made of cardboard.
We will see you all in the next part of Luigi's Mansion 3.